Assalamu alaikum, my name is Syed Usama Aziz. Welcome back to another class of COBOT. In this class, we are going to learn how to use motor driver ICs using Arduino. So the motor driver circuit that is included in our COBOT robotics kit is this red colored PCB circuit board, and the IC on top of it is the L298N IC. This IC can be used to control two very important parameters of a DC motor, one being speed and the other is the direction. So in this lab, we are going to control these two parameters on this robot chassis by controlling it using microcontroller Arduino. So here I would like to make a humble request that if you like this type of content and you have learned from this channel, then please smash that subscribe button and also turn on the bell icon so that you stay alerted whenever we post something new. Now let's get started. Okay, so let's just quickly see how we have connected this onto our chassis. On this left hand side terminal, we have connected one DC motor which is on the left side, and on the right hand side of the terminal we have connected the second DC motor. So it means that this motor driver can control two DC motors at the same time. These three terminals, these are for powering the module. So we have the first pin as the VCC, where we can provide the voltage to the motors. It could be anything from 12 volts to 35 volts or maybe even less, but make sure that it is not less than the requirement of the motors or more than the requirement of the motors. At the center we have ground, and here we have 5 volts, which can be configured as an input or output depending upon this jumper over here. And after these terminals, at this point we have these wires coming out. So these are the inputs to control these outputs, and these inputs are connected using these 6 wires onto the microcontroller over here. And using these pins in our Arduino IDE, we can control these two DC motors, and we can control their speed as well as direction. So let's move on to the programming part and let's see how we can do that. So let me quickly explain how this code works. In order to control the motor, we have to first declare these pins. So here in the highlighted area, I have declared the pins of the Arduino where we have connected the two motors and their enables. So pin 6, 7, 8, we have connected input 1, 2 and enable A, and on pin numbers 9, 10, 11 we have connected input 3 and 4 and enable B. In the setup section, we have just declared all these pins as an output. We have put a delay here for 1 second, and then we have enabled these motors, and by enabling it means that we have to put high state on these pins. So when we apply high state, it means that now we can control the inputs using the digital write function. So that is why I have put this in the setup function. Now in order to control the speed, we have to use this analog write command. Analog write has the parameters where the first one is the enable pin and the second one is basically the value of the speed, which ranges from 0 to 255. So 255 being the maximum speed and 0 is the minimum. And using this command, we can basically implement the concept of PWM. In pulse width modulation, we basically quickly turn on and off a microcontroller pin so that it neither gives 100% output nor 0. So the output is the average somewhere in between. So using 255, we are giving 100% of the output. Using 0 over here, it gives us nothing at an output. And using any value in between, for example 150 or maybe 127 would give us 50% of the speed or 50% of the voltage at output. So these two pins basically control the speed of two different DC motors. Moving forward, we have this function. I have declared it at the bottom, so we will discuss that over there. This will make the robot move forward at full speed for 4 seconds. Then it will stop the motors, wait for 1 second. Now the motors will move in the opposite direction, so our robot will move backwards again for 4 seconds. Then we will again stop the robot for 1 second. And then we will repeat the same process, but at this time you can see that the parameters of the analog write are different. So we have reduced the speed from 255 to 180. Now let's see these functions, what they are doing. So in order to control the direction of the motor, which is the second most important task, what we simply do is we create a potential difference, first of all, at pin 1 and input 2. So input 1 and input 2 have voltages high and low. This means that this motor will start rotating in one direction. Then same we have done to the other motor as well. Now in order to change the direction of the robot, what we have to do is simply invert whatever we have written over here. So for example, for robot to move forward, if in1 was high, for the backward function we will write in1 as low. Similarly, if to move the robot forward in2 was low, then in order to move the robot backwards we have to write in2 high. Same goes for the second motor, that is in3 and in4 as well. And in order to stop the motors, both motors, we have to write low everywhere so that there is no potential difference, and hence the motors stay still. So now let's see this in a demo. So that is the end of the video. I hope you learned a lot from this. In the upcoming videos, we will be installing sensors onto this robot chassis and we will be making projects. So if you want to learn about that, please subscribe this channel and stay tuned. Let's meet into the future video. Till then, Assalamu alaikum.